Hello, good people. I am Charles Katlano, a PhD candidate in my third year of the sociology program at UAM, who received a generous funding support for research in Africa from the African Studies Center. Specifically, I am investigating fertility behaviors among Uganda's population subgroups, and funding from the African Studies Center enabled me to extend transport refunds to my respondents during the month of May through August when I was in Kampala, Uganda, investigating the fertility behaviors of recent university graduates. I am overwhelmingly appreciative of the African Studies Center's Giving Blueday donors, given their generous intentions, and most importantly, for understanding that donations to the African Studies Center partly going to international students like me who have very limited resources to facilitate very expensive research on the African continent. We greatly appreciate your support to the enormous contributions that our research makes to the continent, and thank you again, and thank you for the future.
Hello, my name is Comfort Chamandamtata. I'm a PhD candidate in the Department of History and a fellow in the Museum Studies program. In 2019 and 2020, I received funding from the African Studies Center to conduct research in Malawi. My work involved digitizing an archive that I'll use when writing my dissertation. I would like to thank ASC donors for making this happen. I couldn't have done this without you. Thank you.
Hi, I just want to say thank you to the African Studies Center Giving Blueday donors for their continued support of me throughout my graduate career. My name is Adelaide Block, and I'm a third year PhD student in linguistic anthropology, and I was awarded funding by the African Studies Center for the Research in Africa Fund to support my research in Morocco regarding language ideologies and a mock form of linguistic practices of the indigenous language in Morocco in a semi-urban area. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to go to Morocco due to COVID, but I'm so grateful for the center's support, and I look forward to applying for future funding. Thank you.
Hi there, my name is Annie Burkland, and I'm a third year PhD student in linguistic anthropology. Last summer, I received ASC funding for research in Africa, and I was able to travel to Cape Verde in August for scoping research before I spend a year doing fieldwork there next year. This trip was super valuable for me. It enabled me to establish contacts in Praia and begin learning Cape Verdean Creole. So I'm very excited to return to my field site in Cape Verde next year. So thank you very much to ASC's Giving Blueday donors.
My name is Daniel Idriso, and I graduated from the Masters in International and Regional Studies with a specialization in African Studies on December 19 last year. And I am one of the beneficiaries of the African Studies Center Research Grant. That grant has been very instrumental in ensuring that I get my thesis work done. And prior to joining the program, my intention was to go back to my home country during the winter break to conduct field survey for my thesis work, not knowing COVID-19 was on the way. So when COVID happens, during that period, COVID was at its peak, and then the airports in my home country had to close down. The US Embassy too had to close down within that period. So I couldn't go back to my home country for the field survey. And staying back in Anambra meant that I had to pay for accommodation and other utilities within that 4-month period, which initially wasn't part of the plan. So with the help of the ASC research grant, I was able to stay back in Anambra, and then I used and analyze data from the demographic and health survey to write my thesis. And now I've submitted my thesis, and then I've gotten a paper out of the thesis for publications. And then so I'm very much grateful to the ASC for the support given to me. And then I'm also grateful to the ASC donors for supporting ASC. If not for their support, I don't know what would have happened to my dream of writing thesis, because it has always been my desire to conduct research for my thesis, and the ASC research grant made that a reality for me. So I'm much grateful, and then thank you to ASC, thank you to all ASC donors.